All right, let's do this, I guess. Who cares? Nothing matters. Everything is stupid anyway. It is Wednesday, September 27th. This is Bears Nation Podcast. Myself, Jake Stein, joined as always by Kevin Lapka. And I'm getting real sick of it. I don't even want to be here anymore. Not on this podcast, but in general, in the Bears fandom. God, it just gets worse every day. I feel like now, today, Matt Eberflus hosted a team meeting and talked about leadership and courage and confidence and came away from it saying, I liked the look in the team's eye. We are fully in Matt Nagy days right now. You realize this, Kevin? Like, this is where we are. We are in Matt Nagy days as far as quotes, as far as the coach trying to tell us that things are fine and dandy. That's where we are. I like the look of the team's eye, or the look in the team's eye.
What does that even mean?
What are we talking about here? You just lost by 30 to the Kansas City Chiefs in a non-competitive game. It could have been more, but they took pity on you and decided to lay off the gas. They didn't Miami Dolphins you, which they easily could have. And you're saying, oh, we had a team meeting about leadership and courage, which, by the way, was supposed to be your whole thing, dude. That was supposed to be your thing. The hits principle, and we're going to get after the ball, and we're going to commit, and we're going to create a team identity. This was already supposed to be done. This was you had months to do this. You had all summer to do that. And it's September 27th. And you're having to have a team meeting about team courage and leadership. And you're walking away from it being like, oh, I like the look in the team's eye now. I think we're back. What are we doing here? What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This was supposed to be your whole thing, dude. This is why Bill Polian recommended you to ownership that they should hire you. That because of your leadership qualities and because of the culture that you could establish in this locker room, and that you wouldn't have to do this because we've done it so many times before already. We've done this whole song and dance so many times. We did this 2 years ago. And guess what? Before that, before 2020, we did it 2 years before that or 3 years before with Trestman. And then we did it before, and honestly, we didn't do it before that because Levy had a grip on this thing. And now here we are doing the same old thing. Once again, we are in the worst version of Groundhog Day. We are in the absolute Dante's seventh circle of hell for Groundhog's Day. We're just doing it over and over. This was supposed to be your thing, dude. I know I'm repeating myself. I know I'm getting myself worked up right now. But this was supposed to be your whole calling card as a head coach. And that you were going to delegate. And you were going to let the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator handle all this. All right. Well, your defensive coordinator resigned under mysterious circumstances. And nobody's heard a peep from him. And your offensive coordinator is a brain dead idiot. It doesn't know his ass from a play card. And if he does, then whatever
where did this come from? You've hit the breaking point. You've hit it.
I literally have. Because usually I'm even keel guy. Usually I'm keeping things level guy for the most part. And I'm drawing things back in. But it's just like how big of an idiot do you think this fan base is collectively? Like, how stupid do you think the fan base is? Like, what are you talking about, man? And for the hopeless optimists who took that at face value and were like, all right, here we go. Like, now the team's got a different look in their eye. They're ready to play. More power to you. Like, all the credit in the world to you, but like, open your eyes. Like, the head coach thinks you're an idiot. Like, you, the person watching, listening to this, the head coach thinks you're an idiot. And thinks that he can say a few nice little words and that you're just going to be like, okay, and skip along on your way. He's Matt Nagying you. Like, that's literally what Matt Nagy did. Matt Nagy thought he was smarter than everyone else in the room, in the building, in the city. And look where that got him. I mean, I guess it got him in a pretty good space because he's going to win another World Series as the best quarterback on earth. But you know what I mean? Like, it got him fired and it got him run out of the city. Like, this guy's doing this. Matt Eberflus is doing the same exact thing, and it's only week 3 of year 2. Unless Matt Nagy gave you a Coach of the Year season and gave you a playoff season before all that shenanigans started. This guy has given you a 3-17 record so far and promises of nothing. Like, that's what this guy's giving you. And he thinks you're an idiot. He might be worse than Nagy at this point, honestly. Like, and that's probably hyperbolic to say. And I've been talking for 6 straight minutes, so
I'm not even sure
his moment here. But like, this guy thinks we're all idiots, and it shows, because honestly, what the problem is he's the biggest idiot here. I'm done now.
Wow. What happened today, man?
Dude, it's so bad.
Wow. As Jake walks away, I think Jake's taking he needs to take a breather. But Jake here, what Jake just did is emblematic of, I think, the entire organization and the people within that organization and the players. Like, at some point, dude, when you base your ideology as a coach off of the things that you mentioned, right? The HITS principle, the acronyms, the running shoes in practice, all of those things. We talked about the fragility of that the moment he was hired. We said, it's fine. Like, I don't care if you have an acronym, that's fine. If it resonates with the players, great. You could turn that into something really good. But when you don't win, the legitimacy and the validity of that falls off the cliff immediately. Because then all those people say, well, hits. What's it equating to? It's not equating to anything. It doesn't mean anything. And then what the players see that as, for the entirety of his tenure now, for how long that may be, is everything that comes out of his mouth is just bleh, right? Like, they don't know.
Right. Means nothing.
They can't buy. They physically. I'm not speaking for any player. I don't think they can physically buy into what he has to say at this point. The fans can't buy into it, obviously, and I don't think the players do, and it's evident by the play on the field. And I just think that they've hit this breaking point. The team has hit this breaking point where, and that's why I said it's emblematic of what you just did for the past 6 minutes, is I think everyone's on the same page. Like, dude, we just got to be real, bro. Come in here, like Matt Eberflus, man. You just got to go in there, and can we have somebody be freaking real? Can we have somebody be real about what's at stake here and what's going on with this team? Like, I understand it's a hard pill to swallow if you're Matt Eberflus, because at that point, if you kind of walk into those rooms and you walk into Ryan Pohl's office and you walk into the players' meeting and say, we suck right now and we're bad, it's a bad look for you. 100%. But at this point, if you're Matt Eberflus, you're probably getting fired anyway. What do you have to lose? And if from the jump you were just real, and if we just have a coach who's just real about the situation, like, that's all we ask. Like, don't sugarcoat it. Like Jake said, we're not stupid. We watch the games too. We sit our ass on the couch unfortunately for 60 minutes and watch these games. We know things aren't glitz and glamour, and we know that for as bad as things are right now, it's not repairable with the players meeting and saying to us that, whatever the quote he said was. What was it exactly?
I'll find it real quick.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's pishy caca, man. Like, it's
excellent follow end quote.
Yeah, there you go, you get it. I'm so sick of it, man. And that's what I said 2 weeks ago. That's what I said a week ago. I said, walk up to that podium post game, say, we suck. We suck today. And we were awful.
Here it is. Matt Eberflus said they had a leadership council meeting this morning and addressed the team about focusing on the details and fight and determination. Eberflus went on to say he feels real good about the look in their eye. Shut up, dude. Yeah, absolutely miss me with all of that. Are you serious? Leadership and determination. Wasn't that like the main thing he said in his opening press conference when he first got hired? Wasn't that like we're many months into this? We are
many months,
multiple years at this point now. Like, since you've been hired and had your whole chance to do this. Okay, yeah, new guys came in and new people were added to the team. Shouldn't the guys that were left over from last year's team, no matter how god-awful, atrocious last year's team was, there were a lot of guys that remained. Shouldn't they be able to help that process along and kind of expedite that process of making that culture of leadership and determination. What are you talking about?
I know. And that's why it's so frustrating. It's like, you are now like, these were the things that were supposed to be the foundation of the team. You were supposed to have the leadership and, the determination and the fight and the discipline, right? The discipline was a huge thing, the limiting penalties, and they haven't really done that this year. They've had a lot of dumb penalties in the first 2 games, right? You were supposed to have that down from the jump, because the last regime had a big problem with it. You didn't feel like there were leaders out there. You didn't feel like they were disciplined. We referenced the Javon Wims thing and the Anthony Miller and some of the situations with players of the last regime. He was brought in to rectify those things. That was the main thing. We knew, everyone knew, defensive coach in this era, but you're forced to every time a new coach is hired, because you just don't know sometimes with coaches. You're forced to kind of see the good in it. And the good that we found in it was, hey, maybe this guy is really just going to have a disciplined, well-run team, and they're going to fight their ass off for the coach. That's what we thought would be the saving grace of Matt Eberflus. And the fact that that's not even remotely close to being the case right now is, once again, justification as to why the guy shouldn't have a job. Like, that's just where we're at. So I know this isn't a Bears-Broncos preview, but it's all relevant, and it is somewhat relevant to, the following game, the game that's about to be played, because, like, these are also the same things that were said last week. Like, we've talked with the guys. We're going to fight a little harder. We like the way we've looked, right? We like the way we've looked, like all these different things. And what'd you do? You went out there and you got your ass handed to you, 41-10 by the Kansas City Chiefs. So hearing all these things, like, do they really think that people hear these things that they say and feel more positive about the team's chance to beat a Broncos team that's equally as bad as them? No, not at all. Like, And Jake, I'll be honest, and then we can, I guess, talk about this game, I guess. Like, yesterday, I sat down and listened to Ben Johnson press conferences for 30 minutes, and because it was like a palate cleanser for me, because obviously I'm already onto the process of searching for the next Bears head coach and who I would want to be that, because it's going to happen. Matty Rivers is going to get fired. It's just a matter of when.
100%.
And Ben Johnson, obviously the leading candidate, offensive coordinator for the Lions, for those who are not aware of the name, has been phenomenal with them. Obviously led Jared Goff to a resurgence, and that offense has been great. But I wanted to just listen to him speak, because I feel like for the past 7 years, 5 years of my Bears fandom, like, I haven't really known what a good coach says in a press conference and how a good coach operates. So I wanted to hear what he said, and it was refreshing. Like, it was so thorough, detailed, no excuses. Just every response was crisp and explanatory. And it was like, that's the guy, man. Once these guys get fired, that's the name that should be hired. Oh, wow. What a bar. Once these guys are fired, that's the name that should be hired. What a bar. But yeah, I'm going with Ben Johnson. I'm sure, who knows, maybe that head coach preview episode might come a little earlier than expected, depending on how long it takes Matt Eberflus.
So I actually do have a thought on this timeline of when Eberflus might be fired. I thought of it just now while we were talking about this. If you lose the next 2 games, like, I think he gets fired. If you start 0-5 and you lose badly to the team it's twofold. First, you lose this week. Like, if you get your ass kicked by the Broncos, who just gave up 70 to the Dolphins and lost big to the Dolphins, like, if you lose to them, I think the decision's made then. Like, if you lose again by 20 plus, 30 plus, God forbid, because the Broncos offense is actually, like, say whatever you want about the Broncos and Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, their offense has actually been decent. It's their defense that has been atrocious. And Vance Joseph is a horrific coordinator and coach, which probably means the Bears are going to hire him as their next head coach. But I digress. The Broncos offense has actually been good. They might put up 40 plus on you, and you might just get ran again.
40?
Like you might lose. Like, and because their offense is also so atrocious, like, you might lose like 45-14 or something, or 45-21. Regardless, you're probably going to lose by 20. If you lose by double digits, 20, let's say 20 plus. If you lose by 20 plus again to the Broncos, I think the decision gets made then. Like, I think polls, because reminder, and this goes into this. Eberflus was hired before Poles. This was ass backwards from the start because it's the Bears and that's how they do things. Let's remember that. So Poles came into this with his head coach already picked. And so if you start 0-4 and you get embarrassed by the Broncos, I think the decision gets made then. However, you're on a short week and you play on Thursday Night Football for week 5. So you probably can't justify firing him and having, God knows, I mean, Luke Getsy, I guess, like go, or maybe Luke Getsy gets fired too and it's Andrew Noko. But whoever, like, that's a tough task to give to an interim coach. Like, hey, you got 4 days. And also you're not practicing on Monday. So you got 2 practices to figure this out. And good luck out there. Against a Washington team that, yes, struggles against pressure. We saw that last week. This Bears team doesn't get pressure on anybody because they have no defensive line whatsoever. So that's tough. So I think if you lose badly to the Broncos, that decision is probably made going into week 5. And then when you lose to the Commanders, because you will lose to the Commanders, because, again, you can't get pressure. And so Sam Howell doesn't have to think too much. You can just throw the ball to Jahan Dotson, and it'll be awesome. So that's going to happen. So then you're 0-5, and then it's, see, buddy, you're staying in Washington. Like, find a commercial flight back or something, because you ain't coming on the team plane. You're done. So, and even if you don't lose and like bad to the Broncos, I think if you start 0-5 and the Commanders still hand your ass to you, I still think even then, like, he might get fired. But I think for sure if you lose badly to the Broncos this week.
Yeah, I mean, the timeline is accurate because if you were to fire, the best time to fire a head coach would be after a Thursday game because you have 10 days to figure it out, right? You have extra time. I just think I'm still going to, I mean, that's also good because my initial prediction was after the Chargers game, Sunday Night Football, because of national embarrassment and stuff, right? And the McCaskeys are very keen on, the image of their team, I think, and all that stuff. And national embarrassment is never good in any situation, but especially in this one. So that would also be national embarrassment if you lost on Thursday Night Football. So I will not be surprised if that were to be the case, especially because everyone's been wondering, where's Kevin Warren? Where's Kevin Warren? All this. Well, I think he's going to come out like the Undertaker and be like, here I am, fired, gone. See you later, pals. That's what he's going to do. He's going to rise out of that casket and say, hey, this ain't going to be how it works. With that being said, there's zero chance the Broncos put up 45 on the Bears.
Isn't there?
There's zero. There's a negative chance. Oh, there's zero. Oh, there's zero. The Denver Broncos are not putting 40 points on you. That is not going to happen. If that happens, there should not be a single person at Soldier Field for the rest of the Bears games for the entirety of the season. There should not be a single piece of Bears merchandise bought on the website for 365 days if they get 40 dropped on by them. If they get 40 dropped on them by the Denver Broncos, Jeff Bezos should be the owner of the team on Monday. Like they just, that cannot happen. It feasibly cannot happen. You're right. The Broncos have a better offense than last year. This game probably won't end in a 0-0 tie like many people think it will. But to get 40 dropped on you, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Yeah, if that were to happen, that would be inexcusable. I mean, this team is terrible. This Broncos team is horrible. This Broncos team, I think, is actually worse than the Bears. I think they're worse than the Bears somehow. I do. And we're really talking about the lesser of two evils here. I mean, we're really talking about, the shittier of two shits. But, God, if you get 40 dropped on you by the Broncos. All right, let's dive into this. So Bears-Broncos on Sunday. We are being forced against our will to break down this game. We apologize.
Under duress, if you will.
Yeah, we apologize to the listeners of this episode that we have to break down this game. We apologize to the nation and the fans around the world listening that you have to spend your valuable time in the car, at work, wherever you may be listening to this podcast, at the gym, listening to a breakdown of this game. I am so sorry, but here we are. Bears-Broncos, noon on Sunday, 2 0-3 teams. Actually, the second battle of 0-3 teams in week 4, which is interesting because the Vikings and the Panthers also play. Jake, where do we start? Let's start with the offense, okay? Because if there's a silver lining to a preview of this game, it is that the defense you're playing is far and away the worst in the NFL. They allowed 70 points last week. 70. So if there ever were to be a get-right game for the Bears offense, the same way it was for the Kansas City Chiefs a week ago against you, it is this week for the Bears offense, and it is this week for Justin Fields. And I have a good feeling, Jake, that this is the game that will define Justin Fields' career. And I'm not predicting that he's going to play well. I'm just saying, like, if he sucks against a defense this bad, it's done for him. If he does well against a defense this bad, people are going to take it with a grain of salt, but at least it's production that he hasn't had at all this year. So he can't be bad. He can't implode in this game. He has to be productive, or this could be a very rough beginning to the end of his career. In Chicago, at least.
If the Broncos go up 2 scores, do we see Tyson Bagent?
It would have to be in the fourth quarter. It would have to be late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Because, and you know what, Kevin? I'm going to say something.
Don't say it.
I think they should keep Bagent on the bench the whole year, because if this is what it's going to be, he might be better than Fields and give you a better chance to win.
So if you think that's the case, then why would you bench him?
Because you need to tank for Caleb Williams.
Oh God!
Like, you don't want to win games,
dude.
Like, dude, you don't totally disagree.
So here's the thing: it's not that Tyson Bagent is better than Justin Fields.
Could be.
Because he's not. He's not. Listen, he's not. You know that. I know that. The entire world knows that, except for people on Facebook.
How do we know that?
Listen,
how do we know that?
Listen,
we haven't seen him play.
Hear me out. It's not that Tyson Bagent is better than Justin Fields. It's that he probably at this moment, although he hasn't played a single regular season snap in his NFL career, is more confident than Justin Fields. And if he were to get the starting job, he'd be way more confident, because he'd be like, damn, okay, this team actually believes in me. Look, I'm a QB2. I'm from
But that's
D2.
what I mean. Like, that happens. The team possibly gets a spark from that, and you win.
Well, that's what
games.
I mean.
Even I would. Even if you win 2 or 3 games, you're done. Like, you should be trying to win 0 games.
I agree with you on the sense that he could come in and be a spark plug for you, but I'm not going to say that he's better than Justin Fields. So here's the interesting thing about this game. Like,
there's interesting things about this game.
There's when it comes to Justin Fields, right? Because that, again, we're at the stage last year where tank but hope Justin Fields looks good, I guess. I don't know. Like, you still want to see
that's
him,
what was happening last year. We were losing games,
but
you're walking away like, oh, well, Justin Fields ran all over the defense, had a couple really nice throws. So you felt okay, because you felt like the future was bright, because they were like, all right, you use your draft capital, you sign some people, and those things happen, you still suck. But I digress. We all know what happened then.
So here's the thing that's interesting about this game for Justin Fields. We talked about the ability for it to be a get-right game for him, right?
Yep.
We all know that the probably the fundamental thing that's ruining Justin Fields right now is coaching, number 1, and 2, confidence. His confidence is just lower than any quarterback in the league right now, the same way it was for Mitch back then, right? But Justin Fields just more capable, but his confidence is it's terrible. He has no confidence in his offensive line. He's no confidence in himself right now. So the interesting thing is, you play a Denver Broncos team that allowed 70 points. So if you play well against them, and not even crazy, but enough to build a little bit of confidence, the Bears' schedule coming up is incredibly favorable. You play the Commanders, and I'm not saying, Jake, I'm not predicting anything. I'm not projecting anything. I'm pitching you a hypothetical I'm pitching you an opportunity. This is an opportunity for Justin Fields where if he were to build confidence in Chicago against Denver, you have 3 weeks to compound that. You play the Commanders on a short week for them and for you, a team whose defense was supposed to be really good but isn't great. Still has a good front four, but the defense just got 37 drops on them by Buffalo. And yeah, Buffalo's awesome, but their defense isn't as great as we thought they would be. Then you play the Vikings, one of the worst defenses in the NFL, probably 30th ranked defense behind the Bears and the Broncos. And then you play the Raiders, another 1-2 team at home, and 2 home games back-to-back, the Vikings and the Raiders. All I'm saying, Jake, is I don't know why are your hands in your head? This is an opportunity for Justin Fields to compound confidence, because I know that you're all the way moved on to Caleb Williams. I'm not there yet, and a lot of people aren't there yet. Even Ryan Poles isn't there yet, right? Peter King said that, he believes Justin Fields has a few more games to prove his worth to the team. And this is just a good stretch of games for him to do that. That's all I'm saying, Jay. I don't know why you're so out. This is
Why do you?
valid.
You're sick.
Why
You're
am I sick?
Why
This
do you
is
do
just
this to
objective.
yourself?
This is objective. Why? Don't call me sick.
You're
How is this
you're
wrong?
sick.
Tell me
that
where
was
I'm
a
wrong.
sick. That was not the reasoning. And now I just put my headphones in my head. This was not the reasonings of a sane person. It wasn't.
That is the most sane reasoning.
That was
especially
the
because of what we know about
ramblings
Justin Fields.
of a crazy person.
Why?
Because let's say it this way: if Fields starts playing better, that implies you're winning some of those games.
Yes.
So
I would probably say
because I know what you're doing here. You're trying to argue that the Bears are going to be 3-3 in 4 weeks. That's what you're trying to say to me right now. That's what you're trying to say to me.
No.
You're trying to sell me that the Bears are going to be 3-3 or 3-2 in a few weeks. That's what you're talking about. And by that time, we are fully on the Kevin Labko. Here we go. Only team to make the playoffs after starting.
Oh, stop it.
I just don't want to see you do that to yourself.
That is not what I'm getting at here. That is not that. I
you
can
know
see,
I'm right. You're laughing.
No, you're not right.
You know
I can
right.
No, I know you. No, I can see how you would see that out of me. I can see that you could believe that that's my, underlying, scheme here.
Yes,
but
because I know it is.
But it's not. It's not. It's that Justin Fields has 3 games left to prove whether he could still be a quarterback for this team. Right, in the future. This is it. This is make or break now. The leash has been cut short. This is it. You have an allotted 3 games. And for someone who likes Justin Fields and still thinks that Justin Fields can be great in this league under the right circumstances, no better situation for him to have success and compound confidence in the next 4 games that they play. You didn't expect these next 4 games to be probably as easy as they are. And I'm not saying the Commanders are necessarily cakewalk either, but like Vikings and Raiders back-to-back home games right there, like all I'm saying is this is a chance for Justin Fields to compound confidence. And if they win those games, like so be it. I already said last week, Jake, I know you're all dead set on tanking. I know you are. But there's a statistically unlikely chance they get the number 1 overall pick. It's statistically unlikely. Like just the way you were to break it down. So if the Bears win a couple games, you can't be mad at this point. Come on, man. We haven't seen a win in 13 games. I would do anything to just see a W and walk into work on Monday, not feeling like a piece of shit because I'm a Bears fan. God, is that all too much to ask?
Yes. You should not be cheering for wins at this point.
I'm cheering for wins. You're terrible.
That's ridiculous.
We're not going to get the number 1 overall pick anyway. It's not going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to.
There you just said it. You don't think it's going to happen.
And I know it's not going to
happen. You're still holding on. You're holding on.
I'm holding on to Justin Fields. I'm not holding on to the team. I'm not holding on to the fact that they can be 9 and 8.
Holding on. By therefore still holding on.
That is not true. At this point, my affinity for Justin Fields and the team is like independent of each other. Like it's I don't know. Like
so by that logic, you should want them to lose games so that he could go somewhere else so he could be successful.
Well, no, because I still want to be successful for my team. And if he doesn't, then yes, I would love for him to be successful.
Kevin, we agreed 48 hours ago that's not going to happen. We said on Monday that's not going to happen.
That he's not going to be here. He's probably not.
That he's not going to succeed here.
Well, we have 3 games to find out, and then fire the head coach. Bring Ben Johnson in here, and Justin Fields is an All-Pro.
I somewhat agree with that. I gotta see it still. I still am not convinced that Justin Fields is going to be good. I do agree that he would probably be good anywhere else. But I do get what you're saying. Like theoretically, these 3 games that are coming up are an opportunity for Justin Fields to prove himself and to prove that he is a starting quarterback in the NFL, maybe not for the Bears, but maybe just in the league. So I agree. If it's going to happen, if this Justin Fields proverbial breakout, I'm going to run more. I'm just going to go out and be me. I'm going to play loose. I'm going to say F it and play football. If that's going to happen, it's going to start this week. This Denver Broncos defense is a joke. Vance Joseph is a laughing stock in the league, and I don't know how he's still employed. So it's going to start this week if it's going to happen at all. Now, am I convinced that that's going to happen? Not really, but I could be convinced, I guess. So we'll see. I get what you're saying. It's an important 3 weeks for Justin Fields for sure. If this doesn't pan out though, like it's curtains. Like the next 3 weeks, Like if this doesn't happen,
True.
if you don't win one of these games, it's curtains. It's over. Like you gotta. I kind of hope it's Nathan Peterman because then you're for sure gonna lose the rest of these games. But yeah, I mean, oh man, I can't believe we're gonna see Russell Wilson look like Russell Wilson on Sunday.
Listen. Before we do that, real quick, here's why you, Jake Hassan. Here's why you, after shitting on me for the past 10 minutes here, here's why you should be on my side here. All right, I'm gonna tell you why. Because we have discovered now via this Peter King stuff that like Ryan Poles, like Justin Fields was never really their guy, right? Like they never
which we said
like it was never really their guy. If Justin Fields doesn't succeed for the next 3 games and he looks terrible, you're entering 2020 territory. And here's what I mean by that. You're Nagy, Pace, Trubisky. You're entering the territory of we now have the statistical evidence and ability to make Justin Fields a scapegoat. To say, well, this is on Justin, man. And he just can't figure it out. We gave him all the chances. We gave him all these games. He just can't figure it out. And then what are you going to do? You're going to retain the general manager, which I wouldn't have a problem with anyway. But you're going to retain the general manager. You're going to retain the head coach and the offensive coordinator. And you know what they're going to do? They're either going to sign a veteran or they're going to draft the next quarterback because it wasn't their fault. It was Justin Fields' fault. The same exact thing that happened in 2020 with Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy and that offensive staff and Mitch Trubisky. And they said, you know what? Mitch was the problem. But what we're going to do, we're going to bring in Andy Dalton and we're going to bring in Nick Foles and that's going to work. Right. And that's what's going to happen. So, they're going to make him the scapegoat if he struggles, and that opens up the possibility for them retaining Getsy and Eberflus, and that is the biggest fear that anyone in this fan base should have.
I do agree that it's the biggest fear you should have. I disagree that that's what's going to happen for a reason. I knew this was coming because I saw you tweet it either yesterday or today, whenever that was. Circling back to something I said earlier in this show. Matt Eberflus was hired before Ryan Poles. Now, the reason that this won't approach 2020 territory.
Not true. Matt Eberflus was?
Yes.
No. Liar.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Like on the timeline?
Hold on. I'm almost positive I'm right.
You were brought in at the same exact time.
January 27th. This is my brain working in real time. Okay. So Ryan Poles was hired on January 25th.
Right. So they were brought in together.
Eddie was hired on January 27th. So remember, So what happened is Ryan Poles went in after all the meetings with all these head coaches had happened. Like all because
I see what you're saying. That's right.
And so by the time Ryan Poles was hired, they were like, hey, this is who Bill likes. And I think this is what we should go with. And 2 days later, Matt Eberflus was hired. They had one more round, I think, on like the day after Poles was hired. But like, does anyone really believe that Ryan Poles got his full say? Like, he didn't do the full extensive search. He didn't get to do all of the interviews. He didn't get to do he got down to the final candidates, which if we remember, one of those final candidates was Jim Caldwell. So death, secret option C,
who would have been better than Matt Eberflus?
Let's remember that though. So the Bears organization, which famously is very good at vetting processes, did the whole search for him and then gave him a select few candidates. Ryan Poles didn't get to do a full extensive coaching search. So ipso facto, I don't even know if I use that right, probably not. But therefore, that's why I think that it's not a 2020 situation. Like this, Ryan Pace got to do the whole search, got to do the whole wide net, and then landed on Matt Nagy, and that was his guy, that was his boy, that was who he was deciding to, hunker down with, and that worked out super well, obviously. So that's why I think that Justin Fields won't be the singular scapegoat. I think that if you continue to lose games, if you win less than 6 games, like if you win anywhere from 1-0 to 5 games, I think Eberflus is gone. I think coaching staff is gone. I think Justin Fields is gone. And I think Ryan Poles says, you're talking about you want guys kicking down doors. I think Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren go in, they kick in George McCaskey's door, and they say, keep your ass in that chair, old man. Yeah. We're going to handle this one. Like this, that you have nothing to do with this. You and that bozo Ted Phillips stay far away from this. Us two are going to handle this. We're going to do the interviews, and you stay out of it. That is, I think, what's going to happen. Like, so I don't think there's a singular scenario that says that Justin Fields is the only scapegoat. I do agree that he'll be sacrificed on an altar, so to speak, but I don't think it'll be just him, because Ryan Poles will acknowledge that he didn't get to do the full search. He didn't get, because remember when we first got the list, it was 27 names of people being interviewed for the head coaching job, or maybe that was the head coach and general manager. But it was a lot of people. It was at least double digits for a head coach alone. I think it might have gotten as high as 27 for head coach and general manager together. So someone of the Jay Sanders in the chat said there's already rumors about Justin Fields being the scapegoat. I don't doubt that, but I don't think it'll be just him. Like, I think it'll be Poles saying, all right, you're all done. Like, I didn't really get to choose you people. All of you out of here. Me and Kevin Warren, not Lapka, are going to handle this next search. Because like Jay Sanders in the chat saying Eberflus will be there, I just don't think that's true, especially if you win like one game. And let's say you only win the Panthers game. I don't know how you can keep a guy who went 1-33. Like, you can't. You just can't. So that's what I think is going to happen.
And Jay Sanders says, remember, Poles didn't give Eberflus the dominant 3-tech he needs to run his defense. Sure. Yeah, maybe that's indicative of some sort of,
disagreement.
Yeah, I mean,
he passed on the dominant D tackle. And Darnell Wright's a fine player. Yeah. Like Darnell Wright is a good player. He might be really, really good. You know who's awesome already? Jalen Carter is already awesome. Is already a fantastic fucking player. Like, you passed on him. The video, that's what made my blood boil too. Like, the video of them fist bumping it. Oh, Philadelphia wants to trade up.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Like, and I get it. You needed an offensive lineman. You were desperate for one to protect Justin Fields. But like, Jalen Carter might be a future defensive player of the year. Like, he's so good already. It's been 3 weeks and he's so good. And you knew that that's what Matt Eberflus wanted to anchor the defense. And you're like, nah. So I get your fear, but I just don't think there's a world where Justin Fields is the only scapegoat.
Yeah. I mean, I hope you're right. You made me feel a little better about that with that little rant right there. And it's kind of funny when you mentioned that list of candidates, that long list. I'm just reading through them right now. Nathaniel Hackett was on that list, interestingly enough. Leslie Frazier, Byron Leftwich, Brian Dable, obviously known Doug Peterson, who, say what you want about Doug Peterson, led the Jags to the playoffs and a playoff victory last year. Jim Caldwell, Brian Flores. Like, literally, I think every one of these guys, maybe not Brian Flores, Dan Quinn, like, literally every one of these guys might have been a better option. Like, literally every one of them. And this is what you
dreams of Brian Dable with Justin Fields is going to haunt my nightmares.
Well, it won't have to, because Ben Johnson will come through and we'll be all good on these parts. Nonetheless, the Bears play a football game on Sunday. Let's sort of talk about it a little bit more. I know we already hit on it a little bit. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball, I guess. When you look at some injuries today, we're recording this Wednesday, September 27th. Eddie Jackson held out of practice with a foot, did not practice today. Jalen Johnson, also out with a hamstring, said he's going to try to play on the Parks and Spiegel show. We did not practice on Wednesday, not really sure about his status. So you're already losing two critical secondary guys, which is just simply hashtag not great. So they did sign Jojuan Johnson what's his last? Jojuan Williams, I believe is his last name. Yes, Jojuan Williams practice squad from the Minnesota Vikings, which is another good indicator that you're likely to not have Jalen Johnson out there if you're signing a cornerback out of a division rivals practice squad. So welcome, Jojuan Williams. But yeah, I mean, I know they're not going to drop 45, but this is still a Denver offense that has looked more competent than it did last year after the abysmal year that they had. And Sean Payton's doing one thing right, and he's getting Russell Wilson back to prime form. Not prime form, but Russell Wilson looks like a pretty solid version of himself. What are you expecting from the Bears defense as Matt Eberflus does confirm that he will be calling the plays indefinitely? Yippee.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I go back to my point. I think the Broncos could drop 40 here. Like, this is a bad, like, to use a Nick Costos term, this is a bad brew for the Bears. Like, Denver wants to prove something. They want to prove that, like, they just
don't
got
wanna prove
ran
anything.
by Miami. That, like, you're the one that always says any given Sunday, narrative plays a factor, emotion plays a factor in these games. The Broncos just got embarrassed. They want to prove something. Here's a chance for them to beat up on a team that isn't going to have two of their starting corners, one of their starting safety, because remember, Kyler Gordon's out, and a defensive line that's a joke. So there's a real possibility that the Broncos just go wild here. Like the Chiefs put up 30 plus on you without trying. Like they didn't even break a sweat. So like the Broncos with a sense of vengeance can't put up 40 on you, really? Like with this defense and everybody hurt and your secondary is bad as your secondary, though, is supposed to be your strength, as injured as it is. Like, I just think there's a real chance that the Broncos go crazy here. And we had just admitted the Broncos offense looks way better. Like Sean Payton is a way better coach than Matt Eberflus. He's going to coach circles around Eberflus. And Russell Wilson, to this point in the season, is a better quarterback than Justin Fields. And now half your defense is hurt. You're in trouble here. So I do not have high expectations for this defense. I think the Broncos are going to go silly on you, and it's going to be really, really depressing. And I certainly think that the Broncos could easily put up 40 here.
I still think 40 is a stretch. I still think we're reaching on 40. But here's the funny thing about this game. Everyone's talking about being the poop bowl and whatever, and Bears-Broncos, it's one of the loser of the team should be relegated to the XFL, all these funny things. I actually think this is going to turn out to be one of the most entertaining games of the week because you're right. If there's one marking for both of these teams, it's that their defenses are both atrocious. And I think the Broncos are going to put up a lot of points, but I think the Bears are too. Like the Broncos defense is worse than the Bears defense. Statistically, they're horrible. Again, 70 points. I mean, God only knows what the Dolphins would do to the Bears defense, but I think this is going to be like a 34-31 type of game. Like there's just going to be a lot of points on the board. Hammer the over in Bears Broncos.
Yes.
What's the over set at? It's probably in the 30s because everyone's so down on them.
Everybody knows
I don't know
how bad these defenses are.
But everyone knows how
currently at
August 42.
46.
Jesus criminy. Okay, the sports books are on to us. They're listening to Bears Nation podcast. They're clearly onto us. Look, man, I mean, again, it's a get right spot. I mean, this is a Denver defense that can't do anything well. They cannot stop the run for the life of them. They obviously cannot stop the pass. I mean, neither can the Bears. But all I'm saying is, like, this is going to be a high-scoring game. I'm not even worried about the defense at this point. That's irrelevant to me. What do you want to watch defense anyway? Let's just watch a game that's 34-31. I'd rather watch that anyway. And the Bears offense just has a really good chance to finally get right. And, a little bit healthier, I guess. Darnell Mooney's fully healthy. And I know the offensive line isn't entirely healthy. That would be huge if you could get Braxton Jones and Tevin Jenkins back.
On IR, so
he's on IR. Well, that's what I'm saying. It'd be great if you get them back, but you can't. Next week you can get Tevin Jenkins back. But it really is. I know you don't admit it. It really is a get right spot for the Bears offense. Like it really is. And I
will admit it will tell us a lot. It will tell us a lot about the Bears. Like if they can't break 20, scratch that. If they can't break 28, like if you can't score 4 touchdowns. If you can't score 4 touchdowns against this Denver offense, like you just suck and you're just bad, and I will have no faith in you for the rest of the year.
All right, listen to the Denver
because everything you're saying is true, but also the Denver offense is better than the Bears offense. So it's kind of I get how they're connected, but it's still bad.
Oh, I'm just going. I'm looking for the Denver defensive stats. Let's go. Opponent points per game. 40.7, 32nd in the NFL. Opponent yards per game, 458.3, 32nd in the NFL. Opponent points per play, 0.635, 32nd in the NFL. Opponent yards per play, 7.2. Can you guess what that ranks in the NFL? 32nd. Opponent red zone scoring percentage.
Well, okay, they're going to be 32nd in all of these.
I know because of the game. It's inflated, yes. But it's just funny.
Remember what happened.
I know it's just, but remember what happened. But I mean, this is going to last. I mean, 177 rush yards per game, 32nd in the NFL. Like, this defense is absolutely atrocious. They don't get pressure on the quarterback, which is a really, really, really critical thing, obviously, as we know, for this Bears offense, is to keep Justin Fields clean. And when we talk about, building confidence, right, and mounting confidence, you're going to have to do that by keeping Justin Fields clean in the pocket. This is a team with a 4.12% sack percentage, 27th in the league in sacks. Like, this is your chance to not only get Justin Fields on the run again a little bit more like they did last week, whether you like to admit it or not, there was a little bit more instances of getting him on the run. But if you want to see him thrive in the pocket and build that confidence and be smarter, well, this is your chance to do it against a defensive front in Denver that is just absolutely abysmal. So, yeah, I mean, like, I probably underestimated the Chiefs' defensive front last week a little bit. Just the impact of Chris Jones was phenomenal. Yeah, their defense might be really, really good, just because they're really just coached incredibly by Steve Spagnuolo. But I think the Bears could actually win this game, man. Like, I hate to say it. Why is that a surprising thing to say? The Broncos are the 31st worst team in the league, and you're the 32nd worst team in the league.
Right.
How is it outrageous to be like Bears could beat the 31st worst team in the 31st best team in the league? Let's go to our predictions as we segue into that, because Jake's about fired up as hell right now. Before we get into our score predictions, and I haven't even made my prediction yet. I'm going to kind of let my heart and my mind, see where the wind takes me. Let's start with bold predictions. Do we have an analysis and a recap of our bold predictions from last week? Did we do that on Monday?
We did do that on Monday, but we could run through it again if we'd like to.
I don't think we should. Personally.
Yeah, I think we should. It's funny.
No,
Our bold predictions from last week: Kevin, Brisker INT versus Mahomes, Justin Fields big rush touchdown.
I was close. I was close with the big rush. He got a big rush.
Mine were a Tyreek Stevenson interception, Roshan Johnson RB1. So 1 for 1. Sort of. I guess these running back divvies are very weird. All right, Kevin, your bold prediction for this week.
My bold prediction for the game. This guy has been quiet for the first 3 games, but he saw a target in the fourth quarter. And I think the Bears are going to be like, you know what? Let's use him a little bit because our offense has nothing else to do. I think Tyler Scott catches the football on Sunday. I think he has a reception. I think he catches the football.
A reception. Good
That's
Lord.
Where we're at. He has 3 receptions on the year. He actually had 2 against the Packers. So you know what? I forgot about that because I didn't watch the first half of that game because I was at a baseball game. I think those 2 receptions came in the first half. So you know what? Just for the sake of boldness, I think Tyler Scott will have 3 receptions. I think he'll reach his career high in receptions. He'll have 3 receptions. He'll be a playmaker on offense because what do you have to lose, right? Oh, here's the other bold prediction. Well, I got one more on offense. One more on offense is a big one. Okay. Bayless Jones Jr.
I knew this was coming.
Will be inactive. And Equanimeous St. Brown will be active. Jake, you really thought I was going to say Bayless Jones Jr. is going to catch a touchdown pass?
Yes, I did.
No, he will be inactive. You got to do something to try to switch things up. Equanimeous St. Brown, we know at least does one thing right, and it's that he's a great pass blocker in the pass game. And, hey, he can catch the ball, too. He scored a touchdown week 1 against the Niners. He's had some big plays last year. Get that guy active. It's malpractice that he's not active. What do you got for me on offense?
You're not going to like it, but this guy is very talented, and he is somebody who has been noticeably quiet this year. I think Pat Surtain gets an interception off Justin Fields to start his first of the year. He currently has a goose egg. I think Justin Fields gives the ball away. He makes bad decisions with the ball. We've seen it through 3 weeks. I think Pat Surtain does notch an interception versus Justin Fields. And that's really it because I have no faith in this offense. I got
you have no faith in the offense against a team that just got 70 dropped on them? Come on.
Because I also don't know what this offense is going to do. I don't know if it's going to be Justin Fields running. I don't know if it's going to be a healthy dose of Roshan Johnson. I don't know if it's going to be Equanimeous St. Brown. I don't know if it's going to be Bayless Jones Jr. I have no idea what this is going to look like, to be honest. So, I mean, if you really want to squeeze an offensive one out of me, I will go. You know what? I'm going to go oppo you. I'm going to say Bayless Jones Jr. gets a touchdown.
Oh, please. Oh, stop it. You're about to shit on me for predicting that, and you're turning that into your prediction.
I'm going opposite of you. You're going inactive. I'm going touchdown. One of us is going to be right.
Yeah, well, I mean,
there's like
a 99% chance he's active and doesn't see the field at all. That's probably the most likely.
But kick return, always a possibility.
Okay,
what do you got for quarterback predictions for this week? To recap last week, you predicted 21 for 28, 245 yards, 85 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. I predicted 20 for 32, 197 yards, 2 interceptions, 100 yards rushing, and a touchdown rushing as well.
Who was closer? Technically me, I think.
Yeah, technically you.
Yes. I don't even want to do these anymore. I'm just making myself look like a fool. It's so hard for me because I know what he's capable of, and I make these predictions because I know what he's capable of.
Oh, the team that got 70 dropped on him though.
And with that being the case, Justin Fields is coming out guns ablazing, pow pow pow, explosives. Jonathan Gannon. That's what we're gonna see on Sunday. I think he's actually gonna throw for drum roll please, You're gonna say 300 yards. 237 yards. All right. He's going to have a decent day in the air. He's going to be 22 for 26. He's going to have a great completion percentage against this defense. And we saw a little bit of an uptick in the rushing last week, but this week is the week where he's going to go crazy with the rushing. I think he's going to have 84 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. So 230 passing yards on 22 for 26, 84 rushing yards and a touchdown. And I'll throw a passing touchdown in there too. But guess what? He will throw an interception, I think, this week. You're right. Pat Surtain's really good, and I think he's going to get him one of these times. So, hey, that's pretty mild. Come on. This is good stuff for me. I would applaud me for my willingness to mild my takes on Justin Fields.
I'm going to say 15 for 28. I'm going to say it is 152 passing yards.
Oh, my God.
I am going to say it is 80 rushing yards. Interception I already called, obviously. And I will say that there is a rushing touchdown again because I'm an idiot. Really high hopes this week. And to close it out, Kevin, your score prediction last week, you predicted 31-20. I predicted 35-14. We were kind of close in that. Well, I guess I was close. We both went over 30 with the Chiefs, though. So what do you got this week?
Yeah, so you're 2-1 on the year on the picks. I'm 1-2, so I'm coming for I'm trying to break even here. And if I'm gonna do that, then I can't pick what you're gonna pick. And I know what you're gonna pick. I know you're gonna pick against the Bears. I'm gonna pick the Bears to win this game. Yes, the Bears suck. The Broncos are worse. The Broncos are a dumpster fire, just as the way the Bears are. They're on the brink of implosion, just as the way the Bears are. I honestly think that the Bears being at home is really the only reason they win this game. I mean, having to not travel to Denver and play in that altitude and having them coming to you, and I know the Bears are, have put up a lousy performance in their one home game this season, but it's always better to be at home statistically, whether you like it or not. They played a lot better at home last year, it felt like. I think they're going to somehow pull out a win here, somehow, some way. I think that Broncos team is defeated. I know the Bears are defeated too. But I think they pull out the win. So I'm going to go 34-31 Bears. Again, high scoring game. I think no one's going to stop either team. They're just going to score, explosives, boom, boom, boom. And the Bears pull this one out 34-31. And a game winning Carlos Santos field goal as Soldier Field and all 12 people at the stadium go crazy.
All right. I'm going to say I just have no faith whatsoever in this team, in this offense, in the play calling, and the coaches. I think that this is a good get-right spot for the Broncos. I think they have something to prove. I think they want to give you a beatdown. I'm going to say that the Broncos win this 38-17.
Jesus criminy. You think we lose by 21 to the Broncos?
Yes. Yes, I do. I honestly do.
Do you want to put a bet on this, like money? Like, can we put a bet on this?
I'm already going to bet against the Bears.
Okay, but not by. All right, if you're so confident in this, then I want you to put $100 on Broncos alternate spread 20.5. If you think they're going to lose, okay, then you're not so confident in it.
Well, yeah, it's a podcast, Kevin. I mean, this is what I theoretically think is going to happen. I think you're going to get smoked, but
You're probably gonna end up being right anyway. So
Yes, I know.
no,
It's
I
not
don't
gonna
know,
be
but Bears are gonna win.
week
We'll
week
see you on
4 of
Monday.
another miserable week.
And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come here on Monday. I'm gonna say we're back, baby. Bears are
No.
back.
And you know what?
Justin
You
Fields
will. And I know you're.
No,
I know you will too.
No, I can't do that now, and I won't do that, dude. I won't do that. I've already told you my feelings on and my intuitions on Matt.
The Bears are going to win
like,
by 17, and Kevin Lapka is going to be in here like, we're back. Washington's vulnerable, and then you got Vegas, and then you're 3-3. That is exactly what's going to happen.
If you win by 17,
that is exactly what's going to happen. I will
if
call
here,
it right now.
Here's the only case where this happens. Here's the only case: the Bears win by 17, and Justin Fields has a "fuck you, Matt Eberflus," parallel to Jay Cutler and Mike Martz moment. If he has one of those, and then we can use the storyline of Justin Fields is playing for himself and the team is uniting without the tour, without the coaches, like, one of these things. Then I'll say we're back, but that's not going to happen. So I won't do that. Don't worry.
All right, we'll see who's right, and we'll see if Kevin Lapka is coming in here on Monday with his chest all puffed up, ready to declare the Bears back. For everybody that was in the comments today, appreciate you guys. Again, no, it's not the most fun game to talk about. Well, we didn't really talk that much about the game. We kind of got in some other tangents, which really made it more fun. But, that's what we try to do. We try to break it down, make it fun, even though everything is miserable right now and you're 0-3. So thank you guys for that. Thank you to the live viewers and the listeners, of course, in podcast form. You are all greatly appreciated. We will see you on Monday to dissect whatever the hell this game is going to be, because I have a feeling it's going to get wacky. Until then, for myself, for Kevin, this has been Bears Nation Podcast, brought to you by OnTap Sportsnet. See you Monday, and until then,